I know the standard advice is don't feed the trolls. But sometimes in life you have to. Sometimes in life you have to fight back. Because if you don't show a bit of backbone against these people, they'll just keep doing it. There'll be more and more people attempting this shit. And if we stand up to them every once in a while, don't feed them all the time, but if we stand up to them every once in a while, they'll learn that this kind of shit will not be tolerated. Personally, if it is directed at me, I don't stand for it. I don't stand for bullying, I don't stand for harassment, I don't stand for dickish behaviour. If it's from a stranger and it is immediately insulting, I will just delete, just destroy, just ignore. Don't give them the time of day. If it's something slightly more than that, then I will take a stand against it. If it's not from a stranger, I will call that person out. This did happen a couple of years ago with someone I thought was a friend. At the time I was going through a lot of mental shit. I just wasn't in any kind of nice place. Secondly, at the time I was doing this, I was struggling to get my first paperbacks out. I was really frustrated, getting really stressed by this. We want an MS Word document. This isn't an MS Word document. Yes, it's an MS Word document. No, this isn't an MS Word document. But it says there, .docx. This isn't an MS Word document. And so on and so forth until, fuck you, I'm going with another company. So at the time I was a bit stressed and I wasn't in a very good place mentally, or physically, or in a good place in any way whatsoever. And then I happened to look at the advice for this site that doesn't reckon I have an MS Word document when I obviously do have a... Don't design your cover yourself, hire a graphic designer to do it. Sorry, excuse me? Hire a graphic designer when there is... Do I really need a graphic designer when I am competent at GIMP and Photoshop? When these days you can make a pretty good cover by yourself and you don't need to hire an expensive graphic designer? So I put this on Facebook. I put the don't do the cover yourself, hire a graphic designer. And then next to it I put, do you even know how expensive graphic designers are? But then this guy I thought was my friend puts a comment underneath. Oh, maybe you should get a real job then. Excuse me? Are you saying that what I do isn't a real job? Are you saying that writing books for a living, struggling to make a name for myself, isn't a real job? Trying to prove that an MS Word document is an MS Word document is not a real job? Of course it is! It makes money, doesn't it? Maybe not a great deal, but it made money. It still makes money, I still do it, it is still my job, even though I am now an MA student and Brexit has literally fucked me up the arse. It is still a real fucking job. Now this guy I thought was my friend, he hadn't commented on my stuff for a while. He hadn't sent me a message for a while. He hadn't even sent me a birthday message, even though I'd sent him a birthday message. He hadn't basically spoken to me for a while. So I quickly checked when the last time he commented was. And it was again a sort of not very nice comment. It was trollish. So I went back further. And it was all trollish, dickish behaviour. So I called him out on it. In capital letters, admittedly, which maybe I shouldn't have done, but I called him out on it. I said, don't do that. I work hard every single day. I struggle to make a living. I am working so hard to make a name for myself. And then he comes back with a sarcastic, flippant comment. So I basically let rip, didn't I? I said enough is enough. Do not respond with a flippant comment when you have offended someone. I am sick of your trollish, dickish behaviour. Fuck off back to wherever you came from. Go back to the shadows. Didn't stand for it. Admittedly, he deleted me after that, thank goodness. Because if a friend is going to do something like that, they're not your friend. If a friend is going to try and troll you, they're not a friend. Pranked, yeah, within reason. Sticking pictures of Brian Blessed on the ceiling, fine, whatever. Or in the bathroom cupboard, as Brian Blessed now is. I had to remove him from the kitchen ceiling, because there's a viewing in a couple of days. And it's not going to look good if people wander in and find a picture of Brian Blessed on the kitchen ceiling. Oh, it's a lovely house, isn't it? Oh, look at the view, that's lovely. Oh, that's amazing. Why is there a picture of Brian Blessed on the ceiling? But that's with friends. If they're trolling you, they're not your friend. If they're trolling other people, call them out on it. Bring them down. Because that's what friends do, they look out for each other. They make sure we're all moving along together. When it comes to strangers, most of the time, don't feed them. Just cut that shit out straight away, just chop it off. Unless it's someone like, I don't know, Donald Trump, then he needs his shit kicking in. If I was a White House press journalist, you know what I'd do? I wouldn't stand for Trump's shit. I would be calling him out. I'd be standing there. I'd be bringing that orange-haired shit-face down. Hi, yeah, Mr. Trump, Jim Cher, CNN. When are you going to release your tax returns?
No, CNN is fake news. I am not answering that question. You are fake news. CNN is fake news.
Hang on, no, sorry. That is a fair question, and CNN is a reputable news organisation. They are not, as you say it, fake news. So answer the damn question, or I'll ask it. When are you going to release your tax returns?
Fake news everybody. Fake news. CNN, fake news. That is not a fair question. That is not a fair question.
No, it's a fair question. When are you going to release your tax returns?
JPC, you are fake news. I am not answering that question. Throw him out. JPC is fake news, everyone. Fake news.
But I'm not a White House press journalist, so I can't do that, can I? The best thing for me to do as regards to Trump is leave it to the people who have power. But in some cases, there is power to stop these trolls. Such as happened with me yesterday. On Friday, I tried to get an NHS dentist. I rang someone up, I said, hey, have you got any appointments? And they said, no, we've got a 12-month waiting list. Tried someone else, no, sorry, we've got a 12-month waiting list. Someone else, oh, we've got a 2-year waiting list. Sorry, we don't accept NHS patients. Turns out there is no NHS dentist in the entirety of North Wales. A 150-kilometre wide area has no NHS dentist. So I was completely stumped. What do I do? I thought, okay, how am I going to get an NHS dentist? The doctors. Let's try the doctors. Maybe the doctors can help. Oh no, sorry, we're a doctor, not a dentist. I've got this emergency leaflet, but it's not an emergency. Where else do I go for help? Sorry, we're a doctor, not a dentist. Goodbye. So I was completely and utterly pissed off. So I went on a massive Twitter rant, which is actually really coherent now I look back on it. As part of this rant, I mentioned Aneurin Bevan, founder of the NHS, and the principles on which the NHS was founded. Free at the point of delivery, based on clinical need, not cost, and that it meets the needs of everyone. 3 principles which are completely absent in the NHS dentistry of North Wales. Yesterday, I then got a response to one of the tweets, which was the Nye Bevan tweet. And it was from this guy. It didn't look offensive, but it was a link to a thread he had written about a year ago. It was completely incomprehensible. It was pseudo-historical bullshit, and it looked to be claiming that Nye Bevan had nothing to do with founding the NHS, that the NHS founding principles weren't what I just said they were, and that it was all the doing of the Tories. Which is complete and utter fucking. Unfortunately, I didn't realise this guy was a troll. So, what kind of history student would I be if I didn't respond to this and say, sorry, isn't that bullshit? What I actually said was, should I do this in Will's voice? I'll do this in Will's voice. Sounds much more effective.
Sorry, but what are you trying to say? That Bevan had nothing to do with founding and building the NHS? Or that the guiding principle wasn't that it ought to be free at the point of delivery? In either case, you are sadly mistaken.
But then he came back to me, and it wasn't very nice. I've blocked him now so I can't get the tweet, but it was something along the lines of, no, you're wrong. And obviously you are so dim you can't cross the road without getting hit by a car. So I looked at this guy's profile, and it turns out that he does this to everyone. Tweets them the same thread. He does it to everyone who mentions Nye Bevan and the NHS. Implies that Bevan had nothing to do with it, which is complete and utter. So I knew this guy was a troll, and I knew I really shouldn't feed him. I should just block him. I should just cut him out. But what kind of history student would I be if I didn't stand up to this git? If I didn't bring him down? So I sent a double reply.
You are 100% wrong. Bevan is quite rightly considered the father of the NHS, and I know a whole lot of people, some of them with PhDs and actual proper experts in this field, who will back me to the hilt. The rest of Britain's academic community will back me as well, I'm sure.
The second tweet.
Also, how dare you suggest I can't cross the road without being killed? I have a friend who was very nearly killed crossing the road, and I've been lucky not to be as well. Road accidents are no laughing matter, and that you should use that as an insult is a disgrace.
And I knew he was a troll, so I thought, right, if he replies again, I'll just block him. I'll send one more tweet to shut him down, and then that's it. Block, report. He did reply, didn't he? It was more bullshit. And he kept retweeting me the same thread. Obviously a troll. So I was going to send one more tweet just to shut him down, to shut him up. And I was going to give him a good punching in the face. Metaphorically.
Your evidence is incoherent, selective and pseudo-historical. You cannot provide any reliable evidence to support what you say. All you have done is prove that Bevan was correct when he said that Tories are lower than vermin. Even more so on Twitter, apparently. Good day.
Now at this point I was about to block and report, but then I saw a response to the other tweet, the one where I'd said don't basically use that as an insult. It was grow up. Me grow up? Me? Excuse me? Am I the one who needs to grow up? Or do you? So I sent one final tweet.
Grow up! I'm not the one saying people can't cross the road without dying, or trying to contradict every person on Twitter who mentions Nye Bevan and the NHS with BS. I suggest you get a life and stop.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I blocked the twat and reported him. Not standing for it. I'd shot him down as much as I needed to, and now blocked. But the fact is, trolls are like the Hydra. You shoot one down, they're just going to come back. There's going to be another one. There's going to be two in their place. You just have to Either ignore them, shoot down the ones that you need to, and just get on with life. As a history student, I will always attempt to shoot down any troll who comes out with historical BS. Come out with historical BS by all means, yeah, but don't troll people with it. I've come out with historical BS in the past. Neolithic people living in trees, for example. No evidence for that one. Although, yeah, there is evidence, but it's circumstantial. Let's not go into it now.
Neolithic people lived in trees. We have concrete evidence for this. It is written in felt tip on Stonehenge. It is written that Neolithic people lived in trees. We've got a picture on Stonehenge of a man, a Neanderthal man, named Donald, living in a treetop in the Neolithic period. Living in the trees, everybody. Living in the trees. Written on Stonehenge. Written on Stonehenge. Written on Stonehenge.
But don't troll people with it. Don't tweet every person who says, oh, I've just been to a really great Neolithic house with, oh no, Neolithic people lived in trees and this is why, and this is why, and this is why, with exactly the same shit. Because that's not on. If you are trolling people with historical bullshit, I am going to shoot you down. I am going to shut your fucking mouth. Got it? Oh, and one more thing. Okay, Google, who founded the NHS?
National Health Service was founded by Aneurin Bevan.
Even fucking Google agrees with me. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, troll.